I always get more pissed during the week thinking about how I've failed my side of liberalism when I'm fighting with you, and then I fail to be as pissed as I should be when I'm with you. When I was pissed this week, and you have accused me, and you'll accuse me again this week, of being brainwashed by what you call the liberal media. I would say that what you call, the thesis of this rant, if I'm able to rant, is that what you call brainwashing is common sense. Carol and I were out to dinner with another couple last night, and the husband said that he doesn't believe in the moon landings. We tried to send 7 missions to walk on the moon. Only 6 made it. Apollo 13 had an explosion on the way and had to turn back. But 6 times, America landed a pair of dudes on the moon, and 12 Americans walked on the frickin' moon. 6 missions to walk on the moon, plus a bunch of preliminary missions to build up to it. And this guy, my buddy, says he doesn't believe in that. I said, well, why? What specifically? And he says he doesn't know, it's just a feeling he has. But frickin' the amount of shit that you'd have to disbelieve, and the amount of alternate shit that you'd have to believe to think that we didn't land on the moon, to disbelieve in physics and history and video recordings and the entire mass of information, the entire history of the American space program and even the Russian space program from 1957 on, and even before that, because we got Werner von Braun from the Nazis after World War II. This whole history, you have to believe in a complete alternate history. You have to disbelieve science. It's just so crazy the amount of alternate bullshit you have to believe. And I think what you present to me every week is a similar form of alternate bullshit, that you have a complete alternate narrative that runs back more than 50 years, because you like to say we could have won the Vietnam War if Ted Kennedy hadn't been in cahoots with the Russians to brainwash Congress into losing the war. And that goes back to 1960, into the 60s, when McNamara admitted years later that he knew the war was lost as early as 1967. So that's 51 frickin' years ago. And then there are all these other alternate narratives you have. That Trump is being unfairly singled out. I knew Trump was kind of a douche long before Trump was a presidential candidate. I just thought this up. Trump is like a giant monster stomping, like a Godzilla-sized or Cloverfield-sized or Pacific Rim-sized nuclear mutant lizard stomping into the political arena. When you have a giant monster pushing over skyscrapers in your city, you might not follow protocol to the letter. And Trump, this guy who's been a sleazeball his entire career, runs for president and then gets elected president, and meanwhile seems to be compromised in all sorts of ways. And like people at the FBI and just in various other government agencies are tripping over themselves to try to see what the fuck he's up to, if anything, or what the fuck Russia is up to with regard to him. And you guys like to say, well, what you did was unfair. You broke this law, you broke this rule, the FISA this, FISA that, and then you present everything as a conspiracy by the deep state to deny Trump, this noble warrior on behalf of average Americans, to deny him the full power of his presidency. I just think the amount of bullshit and alternate history you have to believe to buy all the conspiracies that you want me to buy, because I believe, looking at conspiracies throughout history, that less than 5% of conspiracies turn out to be true. It's more like 2% or 1%. People want you to believe that, well, all right, that there was no moon landing, or that 9/11 was an inside job, or that Marilyn Monroe was murdered because she knew too much because she'd banged JFK and Bobby Kennedy, and that they injected tranquilizer, they gave her an OD by shooting pills up her butt. And all these, that's one of the theories. that she didn't OD on pills, that she was OD'd, somebody OD'd for her with, a shot of, barbiturates up the butt. And all these crazy theories, like occasionally they turn out to be true. Like the CIA really did have something to do with promoting crack in the inner city as part of the Guns for Contra's crazy, fucked up thing of the early Reagan era. But those conspiracies are rare. It's rare that a conspiracy turns out to be true.
Well,
the common sense says that all this information that leads to simple explanations as to what's going on should have more weight than the crazy set of conspiracies by this deep state that you want me to believe in.
I wish you would just keep talking because I'm getting so much done on this painting, and this is kind of like, it's like listening to the final scene in a film where the person breaks down and starts spewing out insanity in a courtroom, and they just say, "Of course I had to kill her. She was egging me on." So I'm kind of enjoying this, the way it's building. It's yeah, you can't. I was gonna say the Kane Mutiny with Humphrey Bogart, where he breaks down.
That's where I had them. They laughed at me and made jokes, but I proved beyond the shadow of a doubt and with geometric logic that a duplicate key to the wardrobe icebox did exist.
But nobody watching this will have heard of it. But I'm getting into it, and as Rick is speaking, I myself am getting brainwashed.